This is Sharon with At Your Service Dog Training, and I'm going to show you how to train your dog to back up next to your wheelchair. It's a really useful skill to train a dog to back up when you're in a chair, because so often you're going through a narrow space like a doorway or a hallway or a narrow aisle, and there's just not enough room for you and your dog. So your choices in that case are either to have your dog back up and then follow your chair, or in the case of a doorway, you might want to train your dog to go through and wait for you at the other side. But a lot of the time for positioning, it's really helpful for the dog to learn to back up. It's not something that most dogs will do naturally, so you do have to train it. So Maisie, touch. So it's really helpful if you already have a nose targeting cue to start moving them around with that. If not, that's okay, you can still train this. So it's really helpful to use a wall or a sofa or a coffee table or a couple of chairs or something to create a barrier on one side, and then you next to the dog on the other side. You want your dog to have enough room so that you're not worried about rolling over their toes, because you are going to be working really closely and you're going to be watching their feet a lot. But you also don't want them to have so much room that it's easy or convenient for them to turn around, because otherwise they'll just turn around. That's more natural for a dog. So when you are next to your dog comfortably, you're going to have a whole bunch of treats with you. I've got mine in a treat pouch, and so you have your clicker if you use a clicker. If you don't use a clicker, you can use a verbal marker like the word yes. I find it much easier for something like this to use a clicker myself, so that's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to drop a treat just a little bit behind her front legs, so she has to scooch back a little bit. She's anticipating it, she's backing up. So she has to move back a little bit to get it, and you want to click for any backward movement of any paw. So even if she just moves one paw back by ½ inch, you're going to click that. And then you're going to place another treat, so I'll show you what that looks like. So I'm going to get her up here first. You can use a touch cue, you can use a food lure like I did, and then you're just going to take and place the treat and click her for backing up. Place one back again and click. You can start to move back yourself, and you just keep dropping treats behind her. When you get to the end of your spot, or if this is difficult for you physically and you need to move forward, then you can give your walking cue if you have one with me. You can reward for that. I'm going to reward out front to get her forward a little bit. It's easier if the dog starts out a little bit ahead of you. So if you want to reward, ahead of your left foot, or if she's on your right foot, you can use this on either side. I'm working her on her left because that's what her handler wants. So I'm going to drop the treat and click for find it for her backing up. I'm going to move back and drop another treat. I'm going to move back again and drop another treat. With me. So you repeat this until they're backing up a little bit more. So eventually this motion can become part of the cue. With me. So then you start backing up, you do your motion, and you treat. You can start, once they're doing it reliably and you feel pretty certain that they're going to do it, just as soon as you are using the hand motion, you can start to add a verbal cue. So let's try it without the treat in my hand and see if she does back up. And she is. There's no treat in my hand, but I was holding my hand as if there was. So I'll do that one more time. So I'm clicking her for moving back. Because she's already had some training with this, she's moving up 2, 3, 4 steps back. But when you first start out, again, just click for, 1 foot moving back. A lot of dogs really like this. Sometimes it becomes their favorite thing. Maisie seems to like it too. So now I'm going to give her verbal cue and then the hand gesture. So it's going to look like this. Maisie, back. And then I'm going to make the hand gesture and I'm going to click for backing up. I'm going to reward that good behavior. Back. So eventually then you'll have both. You'll have the verbal cue with me, and you'll also have the hand gesture. So, but it takes a while for them to learn both. Back, back. Good girl. She just did one little step back, so I'm going to reward that. Back, back. Good girl. So that's the process. We'll do one more with me so you can see the whole thing. Once I've emptied my hand, no more food lure, back, back. And then I'm gonna do the hand gesture and treat. Eventually you can fade out the hand gesture when they learn the verbal. You always say the verbal first and then the hand gesture. Happy training.